I've got another idea for Dragon Ball Z fan fiction.
Okay.
It came to me while I was watching this series of episodes, so it's probably inspired by just the futility of the battles that they're having in these episodes.
The wheel spinning. Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine if you had like a guy and he was just like a normal guy and he was evil. Like a more interesting version of the Australian sniper character from a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
Just wants to cause chaos and mayhem and whatever. Very easily stopped. Krillin as a cop or something, you know, in his civilian clothes stops him dead in his tracks really quickly in the outset. But then the guy mysteriously comes back to life. And when he comes back to life, he's just very slightly more powerful. He's just got a little tiny boost, like a Saiyan power level boost. He's very killable and totally defeatable, but will always come back with a little bit more power. And a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So you have like a saga where like Tien and Yamcha and Krillin are like fighting him at the beginning. Or like Goku could come in and just punch him once and he would die, but then he'd come back. They know that at a certain point, nothing is going to be able to stop him. But he's so easily defeatable now that it's just like keeping him at bay and stopping him from committing crimes. And I think it'd be like the Borg where Krillin would be punching him, and then he'd come back and Krillin would punch him some more. And then at one point, Krillin goes to punch him and then he just blocks it with his hand.
Yeah, and it's like
he adapts.
Yeah, okay.
And so you'd get some fun moments.
Yeah, that could be fun. I think the obvious solution to that is you just tie him up.
And then just
leave him somewhere. Yeah, it's called jail. We do that already.
Well,
for people.
But then he finds ways to commit suicide.
Oh my God, he discovers the power himself.
Yeah.
Well, what if the caveat is he can only gain power if he's beaten by someone more powerful than him? How about that?
That's kind of cool. He'd try to do more horrible things to force the hands of the Z Warriors into killing him.
It's like this ramping stakes situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And meanwhile, because Goku is definitely going to be the last person to fight this guy and everybody else can kind of handle it for now, he's on some adventure with like him and Bulma and Yamcha who got out of the fighting. So it's like a callback to Dragon Ball.
Okay.
And they're on some adventure to try to fix the problem.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. I got a side story for you. The Dragon Balls have mysteriously stopped working and Dende doesn't understand why. So they have to go to Namek to figure out the source of the Dragon Ball power.
Ooh,
how it even happened.
Wouldn't that be fun to have like don't worry, we'll just get the Dragon Balls. And then they get the Dragon Balls together. And then they say the Shenron chant, but then nothing happens.
They get a dial tone. Yeah. It just doesn't, it doesn't work.
That'd be kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. And they have to go explore the backstory of why the Dragon Balls even exist in the first place. And they can kind of maybe tie up some of those weird loose ends or non-explanations. They won't. Like, it depends.
Just iron out the creases in the lore instead of creating new ones.
Well, that's the thing, is Toriyama tries to iron out the creases, but when he does it, he slams the iron onto the board to iron out the original creases, which causes more creases on the outsides of the iron.
He's so focused on this one little area, he doesn't notice what he's doing to the rest.
And it's this continuous, and so it creates this mess. It's never going to be smooth ever. So I think the only way to really truly iron out 100% of this is give the franchise to the super fans and let them iron it out, because he's not going to do it. Toyotara's not going to do it. Toei Animation's not going to do it right. Give it to the super fans who know way too much about all of this stuff and let them iron out every crease.
That would be fun if we ever get famous enough to like go to the big old Dragon Ball Z YouTubers and get them to pitch ideas for their ideal Dragon Ball saga.
Maybe one day we'll be able to have the money to be able to create our own Dragon Ball offshoot series thing, and it'll be absolutely terrible, but we tried and we are one step closer to doing that thanks to the people in our big boy shout out squad. This is the part of the episode where we like to shout out our top tier patrons, not the top tier. Well, kind of the top tier. One of them hit the absolute top tier, but don't do that again, because that was a joke and I just don't have it in me to figure out. Anyway, thank you to Spencer Feuerstein, Tyler Hyatt, The Fish, and MJ Snyder. Seriously, we cannot have gone to we haven't gone to the con that we're going to be doing, but we couldn't have planned to go to the con that we're planning on going to. That was a fucking sentence. Without your assistance, we sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah, there's going to be, I hope it's fun.
You'll find out in the next episode because
You'll find out in the next episode because I'm sure we'll have some anecdotes to share.
yeah, we'll say one or two things about it and then never talk about it again. Never bring it up again.
But yes, thank you to our patrons who have contributed to making this podcast possible and allowed us to do cool shit. So, because we're going to Rhode Island Comic Con, we will be there when this episode goes live, actually. I think the first day of the con is when this episode goes live. So we're there. I don't know our booth number or anything. I got to go find out how we even check into the damn convention.
All right, yeah.
Anyway, so because of that, we're trying to do a quicker episode. I don't want to throw out just like a bunch of random one sentence summaries of these episodes just to make it easier for us, because I don't think that's fair to the listeners.
Yeah.
But we're going to try limiting ourselves to like 10 minutes per episode.
Yes.
And I think that's a fun gimmick that John came up with. And I think it really should just be a hard limit. So we're going to introduce every single episode, set a timer for 10 minutes, and talk about it as far as we can and as much as we can until that limit goes. And we're just going to immediately jump to the next episode.
Yeah, we're going to see how this goes because we just don't have the time to edit this episode down and do all the stuff that we normally do because of the upcoming con. We have a bunch of text messages and voicemails. We'll put them all on the next episode.
Yeah, we'll do that next time.
Yeah, we're just gonna blaze through this one. Last time on Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z, stuff happened. Now we're here.
Welcome to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. I'm Spencer.
Hi, I'm John.
Today we're going to be going over episodes 259 through 263 of Dragon Ball Z. These episodes like repeat a lot of stuff. It recaps everything that happened previously in the saga and previously in whatever episode, like 3 or 4 different times.
These are a bunch of episodes where Toriyama wrote himself into a hole and then had to write himself out of a hole and then realized, oh, I'm just waiting for Gohan to be powerful, and then decided to make Gohan powerful.
Yeah.
And that's it.
He did that by using an actual hole.
Oh my God.
So anyway, we'll get started with episode 259 of Dragon Ball Z. Oh, do you want to set a timer? I don't have anything.
I got this.
Okay, just tell me when to go.
Okay, hang on. I gotta actually pull up a timer on my actual cell phone. 10 minutes. 3, 2, 1, start.
The Japanese title is I've Done It! Boo successfully eliminated with ghosts. The American title is Trapped in Forever, which anecdotally is one of my favorite American titles. I think
sometimes they're really, really good. Sometimes they're also just like the Japanese titles. So it's like, what the fuck? My episode title is the most Saturday morning ass cartoon ass motherfucking episode I've ever seen.
Yeah, so we get started with this episode with Gotenks unleashing. They're in the hyperbolic time chamber, Piccolo and Gotenks and Boo. The whole thing is Gotenks has to defeat Boo here. He's had time to train. Piccolo's lured Boo into this trap. The failsafe plan is to destroy the hyperbolic time chamber doors, but hopefully it won't have to come to that. So Gotenks unleashes Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, which is one of the very rare instances where it's the same attack name in Japanese as it is in English. Piccolo is surprised. One of the ghosts attacks Boo and it explodes, which actually does some damage to Boo and gives this like body horror thing.
But yeah, every time Boo gets hurt, it becomes awful, terrifying body horror.
Yeah. It's like one of the weird instances in Dragon Ball Z where the villain is actually hurtable. Like usually they just kind of come out of the smoke totally unharmed and just fine.
And that's it. Yeah.
Where they have like a scratch or some blood, but like Boo can get hurt. The problem is he just keeps regenerating.
Yes, which makes the back and forth really fucking tiresome over time.
It really does. And it also like makes it impossible to win.
And impossible to care about how much damage they're doing at this point.
Yeah. Well, and part of that is the fighters' attitudes, I think. Because your title really hits the nail on the head. This whole episode and a lot of the next one are just Looney Tunes again.
Yeah.
Gotenks is a kid, but he's like really egotistical and really sure of himself. And also they do kill children in this show, but and they're going too soon again. But like, I never felt like Gotenks was in danger.
No,
there's just something so zany about this fight. The way that Boo reacts to being hit, the way that Gotenks just like keeps pulling out these ridiculous moves. And it's a little bit meta, but like, I never felt like Gotenks was in danger. So it's really hard to feel like there's any stakes.
Yeah, I'll get to it like in a bit. The third episode in this series was the most egregious cartoon BS for me. And I wrote a little thing. I'm just going to recite that. We should just move on because we're 7 minutes left.
Okay. So anyway, one ghost does a little bit of damage, but what about 10 ghosts?
Whoa.
There's a little bit of like meta in this Gotenks fight. And we brought it up last episode, but like it's almost like the show is making fun of itself where like one does this, so 10 must be even more powerful.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about these ghosts is they're also sentient
and alive and have conversations and thoughts and feelings. And I don't want to get too far into it at this point in time because I'll explode.
Yeah, we could like ramble on with this for a long time, but it makes absolutely zero sense. But Piccolo is like flabbergasted that Gotenks was able to create this move. And I do enjoy that the character is creating moves that we've never seen before in Dragon Ball Z. It's nice, but it's fucking weird.
You said Piccolo is flabbergasted, and that is Piccolo's primary character trait for the rest of these 5 episodes. Piccolo does
that's what I don't like.
Same.
He can be caught off guard for a little bit, but like he alternates between like life coach and just inept old man.
Yes, constantly.
So quickly. Yeah, it makes no sense. It gives me a headache.
His character is non-existent. It's whatever Toriyama decided he wanted to be, which is fixes the whole show. I know, it's the whole show, but it's really bad here. So anyway, okay, so the 10 ghosts go in and explode all over Majin Buu. And we cut to outside the time chamber, and we need to add 23 seconds of that timer to the cutaways to the outside. Because they fuck this, by the way, fuck the trying to keep track of the time thing, because they don't give a shit.
Dude, I'm so pissed because like I enjoy that like we go to the Kai planet and Goku's like, I don't sense the energy of Buu and the kids at all anymore. It's interesting that like as soon as they go into the hyperbolic time chamber, it's separated enough that you can't even detect their energy. Like the big boys, Supreme Kai and Goku can't, like that's a closed off area.
Yep.
That's interesting. But they should have been done with the fight at this point.
Yeah.
Because the time difference between the two, like the fight doesn't last very long. So by the time, like, I really wish they just would have like, it's from the perspective of Kami Tower. Everybody sees them go in, the door's shut, and then like immediately there's an explosion and they're like, what the fuck happened? And then we take it in real time in the chamber and you get to see what happened.
The problem with that is Toriyama would have had to have planned ahead. And he doesn't. So it's just, we're not going to get that, which sucks. So anyway, okay.
Anyway,
the ghosts start infighting and 2 of them like clasp hands and explode. Eventually Gotenks sends 5 of them at Majin Buu and they all gather around something and pretend like it looks delicious and it coerces or incentivizes Majin Buu to go check out what it is. And then they all jump on him. It's just a cartoon.
It's Looney Tunes.
It's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Buu gets like disintegrated almost, and then he's got a little bit of left in him. And so Gotenks sends the last ghost down his throat, which I thought that was a pretty good plan.
That was neat.
Buu actually explodes. And this is the moment where like the music doesn't shift, the tone doesn't change. We all knew that this wasn't going to be an effective thing, but like there's no stakes. It doesn't even feel like a victory.
No.
And so we know it's not going to be. So there's little like bits of Buu everywhere, and they got to blast them all before he can regenerate. But of course, he's going to regenerate. Either they're going to miss one or whatever, but what actually happens is pink smoke rises, just like I think with the Majin Buu or Evil Blue. This has happened before, but it goes above their heads, reforms in a cloud of pink smoke, and boom, Buu is just fine, totally regenerated almost instantaneously.
Yeah, it means nothing, and it will continue to mean nothing for several episodes. So anyway, Piccolo burns Gotenks really good here, where Piccolo says, "It's my fault. I put too much faith in you." And I was like, oh, yeah. Because Gotenks has been acting like a shitty little kid this whole time, which is totally in character.
It's
and I don't
tough
hate
because,
it, but
yeah, he's a shitty little kid, but he's also raised by Vegeta and Goku.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of the meta stuff comes in. Like he was raised on this thought process of the fights should go like this.
Right.
And he's doing a good job of emulating the DBZ fights. He's just like putting a little bit more emphasis on it and calling it out for what it is.
And it becomes campy, but it knows that it is campy because it's trying to be campy. So
it's funny.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that part of it, but I feel no weight for the actual plot that's happening within the world.
Yeah, I think the worst example of this is the following episode, where the weight does not match what we're fucking given.
Yeah.
And so anyway, all right, then the very end of this, Gotenks has a crack thing in his teeth after Buu punches him. He's got like the gouge out of his teeth, like the perfect circular gouge, which doesn't, okay. And then there's an explosion at the entrance of the chamber, because Piccolo, the madman...
Piccolo was like, oh, he's regenerated. He's back. Go get him. Do super moves again.
Yeah.
And Gotenks is like, oh, but I can't. Piccolo, I don't know what's happening, but I can't use my moves anymore. Yeah. So Piccolo enacts the failsafe, blows up the time chamber, And Boo and Gotenks are shocked. They're stuck. They're trapped in this dimension. And Piccolo was like, do whatever you want, Boo. Kill us, whatever. But make yourselves at home.
Yeah.
Which is it's a badass line read.
Yes, it is.
From Chris Sabat. I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
And we're ended there. The threat is corralled, pushed away into an alternate dimension.
Yep.
Everybody's safe for the time being. How are we doing on time?
We have 1:30 left. And man. Yeah. Do we want to just jump ahead? Part of me wants to bitch about the time thing, but I feel like we'll continue to throughout these episodes.
No, I feel like we should use our time allotted. It's so much pressure trying to cram this into 10 minutes. I can feel myself speeding through every single thing.
It's kind of fun, actually.
It is really fun. And I think we chose a good group of episodes to do this with.
Yes.
Because like this episode was nothing.
Yeah, it was just absolutely
It had
nothing.
like 30 seconds of good stuff. And it was like so much filler. It was so much like...
It was empty. It was an empty episode that we all expected to happen, and it was exactly what you expected it to be. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
But if there was stakes, if there was weight, if there was emotional value to the moments, I think it could have been really cool. Because the idea of blowing up the time chamber doors to trap Boo in there is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to think of a better way out of it than what happens in the next episode.
Well, that's putting a lot of faith in Toriyama. That's putting a lot of
That's
faith
the thing.
in the
That's
future
the
plans.
thing.
Yeah.
It's like the people that write the cliffhanger and then hand it over to some other guy. And the other guy's like, well, I don't know what to do. Let's just have him do this. There's just no plan.
15 seconds left. Anything else you want to say about it?
No, I wanted to make a joke like keep rambling until we get forcefully cut off and then just have to jump immediately to the next episode. But I'm pretty much done.
Okay.
So
yeah, 2.
I guess I'll just kind of fucking
done. Next episode.
Episode 260. The Japanese title is Escape from Another Dimension, Super Gotenks 3. The American title is Feeding Frenzy. Is the timer started?
Yes.
Again?
As soon as you start talking, I press the timer. So my episode title is We Have Two Mouths and We Must Scream.
Oh, that's a really good one, dude.
Hey.
That's a good reference. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we start off where we left off with Piccolo repeating that they're trapped, and Boo's whole thing is now he is suddenly upset that they can't eat candy. And Piccolo has another sick ass fucking line read where he goes, "We don't eat candy." That's it. It's really, really good. Then another cut to the outside. And at this point, I stopped counting how long the cuts to outside were because we're easily, I think, 12 to like 14 hours out. And so fuck it.
It's too much. It's too much. I appreciate Popo and Roshi getting some lines and acting, more serious and catching everybody up on all the situation. But A, it's repeating it for an audience that's already heard it at least 2 times.
Yep.
And B, it doesn't make any sense with the time difference.
So stupid. So Popo, explains it. The door's been destroyed. And Gotenks starts yelling at Piccolo. "You idiot. I still had my best techniques. You didn't have to do that." And Piccolo yells back, "Well, you didn't tell me that. You little..." They get in a little fight. And Majin Buu, this is the dumbest part of the episode to me. Majin Buu walks
Dumbest
past
episode
them.
of the entire show, baby.
It's so incredibly dumb. And it shouldn't be. So Majin Buu walks up and with no fucking build-up at all, he screams, "I want candy," which opens a fucking hole in the dimensions, which allows him to go through back out. Sometimes this show does the thing with no preamble, no build-up, and it's executed really well, where it feels powerful. Like Chi-Chi getting stomped on as an egg is the most recent one I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take time to really build the moment. It just happens and it feels a certain way. This one, it's the complete opposite end, where Boo is trapped, and then suddenly he's not, and he escapes. And that's it. And what the fuck?
I don't like it, but I'm okay with Boo having the ability to open and tear in a dimension. I think you could have pulled some kind of stunt with the sands of the hourglass inside the time chamber that have now broken open and using that to like do some kind of dimensional almost magic. Cause that's kind of like it's something.
Yeah.
But whatever, he screams and a hole opens. I think the episode would have been better served being a fight through dimensions.
Sure.
Because like in Dragon Ball Z, there's so many dimensions out there and shit. It just happens to open to planet Earth, to Kami Tower, to exactly where he needed to go. This should have been like Gotenks and Piccolo and Boo fighting as they're trying to make their way back to Earth through all of these rips and holes.
And
that they're like
opens right on the lookout, and it didn't have to open on the lookout.
Exactly.
It could open anywhere. It could have opened on Jupiter. There's so many things that are wrong with this section, and it fucking sucks. But Boo escapes. And then back on the Kai planet, Goku can suddenly sense Boo's energy and doesn't know what's happening.
Piccolo and Gotenks are stuck in the time chamber. They don't make it through
the portal. The little hole closes over time. So Elder Kai gives Goku a crystal ball, like fortune teller Baba's. And I realize at this time, Kai Planet is just the recap squad now. That's it. They're just the squad. They're King Kai. They tell us what we already know. Again.
They do. They recap a lot. Gohan is just sitting there being trained, powered up, quote unquote. And it was at this moment that I'm like, none of this matters.
No.
None of the Gotenks stuff matters because the payoff for Gohan being powered up hasn't come yet.
Right.
So it's obvious that no matter what happens with Gotenks, he can't win because you've already written the Gohan thing and you're not setting it up to where it's going to end early. Like nothing. I don't know why you needed this much filler.
Yeah, this one is a clear line again to Toriyama's writing process where he realized this whole thing is just a waste of time until Gohan powers up, but he really is having fun playing with the Gotenks moves, so he wants to do that for another episode.
I like Gotenks. I like his moves. I think it's fun and
just
different.
The setup doesn't lend itself to me giving a shit at all.
Yeah, exactly. You got to do something to make us care.
Oh God. So okay, Boo escapes and he's on the lookout and he does exactly what you think he does. He wanted to escape to get candy, so he kills everyone and turns them into candy. And it feels that fast because there are minor moments of emotional weight where I would have cared, like the Krillin's sacrifice.
So close.
Yeah.
So close to being awesome. And Krillin does get a little moment to shine where Boo reforms.
Yeah.
And Krillin's like, 18, get everybody out of here. I'm going to charge at Boo. I know I can't win, but I'm going to give you guys time to try to escape. Charges him, instantly gets turned into chocolate. But like, that's why I like Krillin. He's the hero when he knows he can't be.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one. He's the only one willing to stand up and do something.
He's sacrificing himself for this, and it would feel awesome. It would feel awesome if it weren't for all the other bullshit. It sucks.
I agree. It's a great moment that is unfortunately wasted. 18 and the others make their way up Kami Tower, and Boo just blasts a frickin' hole in the tower, and the candy beam hits 18 and
Marin.
Her small child, Marin, the baby. Both you get to see the chocolate bars topple to the floor, and Boo eats those as well. And then he does a big old candy beam, turns everybody in the lookout into chocolate, and they fucking die.
Yeah, and it's that fast. And normally I'd champion this moment, but again, I just felt nothing. I felt nothing.
It could have been. There is a better presentation, and I don't. We're on a strict time limit this episode, but I feel like it's just.
This is one. This is something.
It could have been amazing.
To have explored if we didn't have 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to get through this episode.
Oh God.
Okay, in the time chamber, Piccolo says, "Oh, it was the vibration of his voice that caused the dimensional rift." Which I'm like, "Fuck you," because everybody screams in there. But anyway, the English does a good job of trying to fill in the gaps of the anime, which just doesn't explain shit. Piccolo says, as it cuts back to the time chamber, that they've had time for Gotenks to separate and even fuse again. They've been at it for hours.
That was funny.
Okay, good job trying to smooth those wrinkles out. All right. And then Gotenks says, all right, I guess I'll show off my technique that I've been hiding this whole time. And then just becomes a Super Saiyan 3, which I'm going to give a pass because the build up to Gotenks being the most powerful, capable warrior of all time has just been leading to this anyway. Like they showed the kids.
I know.
Goku showed the kids how to do it. And so fine.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They did plant the seeds a couple times. And in the time chamber, you heard him say, wow, I didn't know there was a power level beyond Super Saiyan. Yeah. But like there was a much cooler moment to do this reveal and they wasted it. I feel like.
Yes. Yeah. That's really what all of these for these 5 episodes feels like wasted opportunity until the end, and we finally get something we've been hoping for.
Yeah.
And it's really good and it's satisfying, but the rest of these episodes, man, it's like lawn trimmings where you're like, this could have been something. Yeah. What? I don't know.
Which sucks because Gotenks is like the most unique
so far
Z Warrior.
It's very
interesting. Man.
And so
anyway, Gotenks screams as Super Saiyan 3, and that does it. I really do like that screaming is the solution to the problem. It just feels like another meta callback to something that DBZ is railed on for.
Yeah.
They have to scream to solve the problem. He creates a portal as well. He's like, all right, I made a hole, which was very funny. And he dives through it and he's like, come on, Piccolo. And the desperation with which Piccolo dives through that portal, his only means of escape back to Earth is perfect. Like the way it's animated and the voice, it's really good.
Piccolo is just here, and everything that Piccolo does displays that Piccolo is just kind of here, and that's it.
It's a little unfortunate.
It really is. I love Piccolo, and he's relegated to being a reaction asshole, and that's it. Yeah. He's a fucking YouTube React video, and that's all he fucking is now, and that feels bad. So, all right, Gotenks comes out, and there's this really creepy shot when they're behind Boo. Boo turns his head around and he's got the chocolate on his face. And I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
that's pretty creepy.
Where they find out that he has eaten all of their family and friends and stuff.
Yes. That's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah, and it pisses off Gotenks. Gotenks powers up, and when he powers up, there's like a shift in the background.
That was wild.
It's all spacey and weird.
Yeah.
Very like, what's the word? Surreal.
Interdimensional, shifty. It was so strange. And I wish I could understand why, other than just visual representation
just like
of power. I don't know.
He's fucking powerful. And then he charges toward the camera. We get a nice little freeze frame of his face as like these lightning bolts flash all around.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks versus Boo. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do we have left?
38 seconds.
Wow. I can't remember what we were going to talk about. Like the
we don't have enough time. It feels bad sometimes.
It could have been so good. The time chamber, like getting stuck there, like all my favorite elements of DBZ, the fusion, exploring these characters, like other dimensions, and could have been really,
it's like all the elements,
really fun.
All the super cool, incredibly unique elements are together, and they waste them. They waste them with cotton. Like it's so fillery and it's bullshitty.
It's because the tone doesn't work. They just take this like Looney Tunes.
Okay, 0 seconds.
Episode 261. The Japanese title is Going Too Far. Boo Boo Volleyball. The American title is Gotenks is Awesome.
My episode title is the one where Gotenks turns Majin Buu into a volleyball and Piccolo bounces him up in the air for a sweet, what the fuck is happening? All right, so we start with Gotenks charging up at Buu, which it like, okay, so it blows up the lookout and Piccolo is very sad. I'm just going to broad stroke this.
I really hate that how upset Piccolo is about the lookout, because it's like his only concern in life after being the voice of reason in all of these previous episodes of being like, stop joking around, stop saying your move names out loud, just fucking kill him. And he says all that to Gotenks, and it's like, yeah, Piccolo, thank you. You're not Goku. You're not Vegeta. You're actually a voice of reason. He's lost in these episodes now.
Yes. Yeah.
He's holding a rock from the tower, and he's like, the tower. Yeah, the tower. I can't believe what's happened in the tower.
Yeah, Gotenks starts blasting at Boo, and the animation is so god awfully bad that the only comparison I can make is that this looks like a fan made parody.
You know what they were saving the money for, right?
Oh, yeah.
2 episodes from now.
Oh yeah. Which makes sense to me, but it just looks so. I have seen fan parodies, and we all have, that look better than this. It's astonishing how poor this is in this moment. So Piccolo yells "Go go go" in Japanese as he's running away from a blast. And he's just a full joke now. Like he's completely lost his character in this episode, and that feels bad as well. It's just a filler fight, basically. Gotenks versus Majin Buu, where Gotenks is Super Saiyan 3 and can actually fight against Buu, but also Buu is equal to Gotenks at the same time. And we've always said those equilibrium fights are the worst.
Yeah,
that shines through here. So Gotenks gets tossed through the lookout, which splits the fucking lookout in half.
Yeah,
and
which is kind of neat looking. They got some good art in this.
That's true. There's some really good shots of the floating wreckage of the lookout. Which, does that mean the lookout is anti-gravity? Yeah. Like,
that's exactly what I was thinking. I think that it means that it's high enough in Earth's orbit that it's not.
Thought, yeah,
that's the only thing that I can think of, because I don't think it's a special material.
Yeah, but the sky is still blue, so I'm going to blame that on Toriyama not having ever been to space like the rest of us have.
It does look cool, so I'll kind of give it a pass, but it did strike me a couple times. I was like, wait, what? Isn't it hold up by a pole? Anyway.
Yeah. Cut to Kai's planet, where the recap squad, anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay.
They have the Trunks, the episodic Trunks music
They
here.
do.
I just wanted to point that out.
I was like...
Yeah, and it's like ethereal and it fits, but the scene itself is not weighty, so I don't know.
No. It's just emptiness. And it really kind of, after talking to those composers, it makes 100% sense. They just pull something that sounds like...
They just pulled it in, and
and it doesn't matter whose name it is. It's just...
Oh, man. These episodes, I started hearing it because this is like right after the interview with the composers. I can hear the transition between tracks now.
Yeah.
I can hear like the urgency where they were like, I just have to make this fit, and then we have to go to this mood. Fucking kudos to, I think Julius was probably doing it at this point. Like, there is some amazing music. Everything with Boo, everything with Gohan coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds incredible.
It really does.
But like, you can tell that some of the snippets are cut and then like transition into this other mood, and
shove them so it runs faster. Like everything plays a little bit faster or slower. It's interesting. It's interesting to know at this point. So, okay. Yeah. Even though Gotenks has seen Boo being blown up into chunks, Gotenks blows Boo into chunks and then says, I won. Okay.
That annoyed me. He does the ghost balloon move where he just inflates a giant energy balloon. It's full of ghosts. They blow him up.
Yeah.
Then he's surrounded by bits of Boo matter, and he does nothing. He just stands there,
just accepts
even
it.
though it's like 2 feet away, and he could just, blast all of the bits like he's supposed to do, but he doesn't.
Here's my note. Boo looks fucked up, and then he's fine. But then he looks fucked up again, and then he's fine, and then he's not, and then he's fine, and then he's not.
Yeah, they found a way to disable the main villain, but not to kill him. But it's interesting that he can be disabled, because like I said, a lot of the previous villains just kind of come out of the cloud of smoke unharmed.
Yeah, there's few clouds of smoke here, and mostly just Boo getting screwed up, but then being fine immediately. So it's just kind of making us not give a fuck about the amount of damage that Boo has. If in the previous episode you cared at all, this one has removed that feeling entirely. So Boo gets real mad, and he catches Gotenks and shoots him back up towards the tower, because they're fighting on the ground now. They're fighting on planet Earth. They got blasted through the tower.
Oh, that's right.
Boo fucking blasts Gotenks back at the tower, which remains. And like, okay, that shot is 1 in a million, isn't it? From the ground to throw Gotenks back at the tower. That's fun. And then Piccolo blames Gotenks for the destroyed tower. He yells and says, "You destroyed the lookout." And my favorite line read is Gotenks going, "Oh yeah." And that's it. That's it. There are a few really so bad it's good line reads, which make me laugh. That's one of them. We get the best moment, in my opinion, of this episode, which is Hercule wandering the wasteland, finding a city, wondering why all the people are gone. He's like, wow, everybody's dead. And he's so hungry, and he's famished, and he's got the dog, and they eventually find a grocer, and he gives B some food, and there's just a little moment of humanity, and it's sucks because there's a fucking flashback in the middle of it. But then at the end of it,
you didn't need that, but like people watching this weekly kind of, maybe wondering what happened, I guess, but I don't think it was needed.
Right. Yeah. And eventually Hercule gets fed and is continuing to wander the wasteland with B.
There's this beautiful piano piece playing in the background too that I've never heard before. It was like specifically made for this moment, and it's very un-DBZ, but it was nice.
Very emotional, and he looks up into the sky and he sees a cloud and he says, "You finally did it, just like you wanted from the start, Boo. You put an end to humanity." And it almost sounds like he's almost happy for Boo or something.
That was so weird. Yeah,
he's not sure. Yeah.
It was a weird moment, but like
something there.
Yeah, there was something there. It explored the character, and it wasn't just. We finally got out of Looney Tunes just for a tiny little bit,
and then we have the most egregious Looney Tunes thing.
And then we go right back into it in the worst way possible.
My fucking God. So let me do this one because I'm furious about it. And we got 3 minutes and 30 seconds. I think I can do it in 2. So, all right. This is why people either love or hate this arc. I get it now. I get it. And I'm firmly on the side of I fucking despise this. I can appreciate it for what it is, but I hate what they've done. So Gotenks decides to shoot super galactic donuts at Boo, who is in ball form. Because Boo does this thing where he turns into like a cannonball, goes around, breaks.
He like backflips backwards and turns himself into a ball.
Because he has no spine, weird. And so he's just whatever. Okay. So Gotenks then turns Boo into a volleyball with these galactic donuts. They like solidify into an actual physical object instead of just energy. And I'm not going to get into the fucking logistics because I don't want to. And he turns into a volleyball. It looks like a goddamn volleyball. And the show is not taking itself seriously whatsoever, which is fine. It's Dragon Ball Z, and I totally understand that it's just going to do this. It's been doing this for a while. But then Gotenks enlists Piccolo to help set him up for a sweet spike on the volleyball, and they dedicate like 30 seconds to Gotenks tossing the volleyball to Piccolo and Piccolo setting him up for a sweet spike. And like, okay, a lot of the time a show teaches you to feel things through the emotions of other characters. And I think this show does that really well sometimes. And I could point to like an unlimited number of examples, like Vidal's training frustrations and Goten's mother dying. And you feel it through Goten, you feel it through Vidal. Even the Namekians feeling sad when Guru dies, you feel it through the Namekians. You feel what they're feeling, but here the characters are all goddamn cartoon gods. And so it's wholly unrelatable. You just don't care anymore. It means nothing. There's no more weight. And that's fine if you're just going to watch it on a Saturday morning for a cartoon show, which is kind of what this show is sold as. But after watching it for this long, knowing what this show is capable of, the depth that it has the capacity for,
it's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it feels shameful. You should be ashamed, Toriyama, of having fun with your own story. How dare you do this? So anyway, Piccolo spikes the ball, and I don't remember what happens at this point, to be honest.
They set up the perfect volleyball spike, and Boo ends up on the surface of planet Earth in a giant crater. Gotenks only has 5 minutes left in his fusion before he has to wait an hour to refuse, which is where we got that time limit from, I think. There's a shot of like deep within the crater, Boo poking his head up out of the rocks, which is adorable. And then all of a sudden there's a giant column of pink energy that just blasts Gotenks and Piccolo as they back off, and Boo reemerges, reformed and ready to fight again.
It's just wheel spinning.
The third or fourth time.
Just wheel spinning.
Yeah. How much time do we have left?
40 seconds.
Oh, man, we have so much time.
I know. We're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised. It's like one of us or both of us must have good internal clocks.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no way on an average episode we would be able to hone in on the 10-minute thing so well.
It really helps that we have these episodes because we can just say, and they fight, because it's so empty that's fine. That's fine to just fill it up.
And Gohan is coming. You know it. And so it doesn't, the fights don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And Boo's never going to be defeated, and it's just a giant joke, and we have 4 seconds left. 3, 2, 1.
Episode 262, the Japanese title is Truly Great. A reborn Gohan returns to Earth. The American title is Unlucky Break.
My episode title is The Most Filler of All Fights.
Yeah. This opens with Gotenks doing an unnamed attack, but in the subtitle, it is basically Die Missile Barrage, which I know from Xenoverse.
Is that what that was?
That's where this... Yeah, he doesn't say Die Missile Barrage, but it's Die something or other. Anyway, so that's where that attack comes from.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was just a million blast thing because he was out of ideas, but he actually, that is a named move that he has, the million blast thing. And it's a really good move. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. Piccolo yells at Gotenks. He just like, don't destroy the planet that you're trying to save.
Hello.
Like, which obviously, but yeah, Gotenks is just like pummeling the earth trying to hit Boo. And Piccolo points out again, he's rubber banding between mentor and just weird old guy.
Between Kami,
Yeah, he says that Gotenks is like his equal physically in fighting, but he did manage to damage Boo in the way of his ego. Boo has never had an equal opponent like this before, and he doesn't really know how to handle it. You can kind of see that through Boo's reaction.
Yeah.
He gets mad really easy. He's just like growling and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And Gotenks has a huge ego, though.
Yes.
There's even a shot of him with like a Pinocchio nose, which I think is just symbolic and not an animation error.
Yeah, it has to be. There's no other possibility at this point. He's a full cartoon character. Might as well give him a Pinocchio nose.
Yeah. So they fight some more, and I love Boo's taffy dodges. They actually do some good like animation with Boo in these episodes where he just automatically extends and dodges. It's neat.
Yeah.
He doesn't just vanish and pop up somewhere else. They destroy an office building, and then Boo does a big old mouth blast that hits Gotenks. And then Gotenks does a big old mouth blast that hits Boo.
This one snapped my springboard of disbelief from like, okay, at least that's funny. At least that's funny. Where Boo gets mad enough to do a mouth beam, and the Gotenks, who gets hit full on by the mouth beam, is just smoking there, and it's like, fine, bitch. And he does it back.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
And then he lands on the surface. He's facing off against Boo. Boo's been damaged by this mouth beam. And Gotenks is like, now you're going to get it. Here's my final move. And then instantly he becomes normal Gotenks again. He jumps out of Super Saiyan 3 and he's like, oh shit. I've run out of power.
Second favorite line read happens where it cuts to Piccolo.
The Piccolo one?
Oh my God, this one is great.
It's so good.
I can't believe
it's so good. I don't know what they must have done in the booth, but it is fucking amazing.
It's so funny. I don't know how people have not cut this out and shared it around because this is the best. So Piccolo has got his fist shaking next to his face. He's like, oh no, we were so close. The fusion's nearly over. And then he moves his fist closer to his face and he goes, over. It's so incredibly out of place and such a you have to make words to the mouth flaps moment.
So it was. It reminded me of the Hercules line read in that live action show where Kevin Sorbo says like disappointed.
Yeah,
that's what it reminded me of.
Oh my God. All right. And so then we learn Gohan's training, and help me out here. We cut to the Kai planet and somebody says Gohan's training was done 10 minutes ago, or he has 10 minutes to go.
No, he's done for 10 minutes. Gohan is like, oh man, all this stuff's going on. Goku's talking about the TV over there that I can't watch.
Yeah.
I wish this training was done. And like old Kai, who's just reading his comic book and holding his hand up to Gohan powering him up, is like, well, you've been done for about 5 or 10 minutes. And Gohan's like, wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Which on a 20-hour process, that's kind of not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I don't know why they made a big deal about it in the episode. Just be like, you're done, kid.
Yeah, I kind of really enjoy Elder Kai in these episodes. Like, I know
he's actually really good because he does have like sage wisdom to sprinkle in, but then he's also kind of funny.
Yeah.
And he makes fun of the fact that like Supreme Kai is a pointless character who hasn't done anything in this entire show.
To his face, he's like, I always thought it would be a Kai that let me out of the sword. You could have done this yourself. I shouldn't be the one dispensing all this wisdom. And Supreme Kai is totally just like, every time. Like I really am pointless.
He's a punching bag.
Yeah,
for sure.
he's an adorable punching bag, but for sure this episode calls him out on being totally pointless, which I do appreciate at this point, all the meta pointing at itself and making fun of itself. And a lot of it is just in English, which is great. Either way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Of course.
So Gohan finally powers up. Elder Kai tells him to do that Super Saiyan or whatever he does. He's like, such an uncouth transformation. And so Gohan.
I really like that explanation that Super Saiyan, like the Saiyans found a way to become more powerful, but it's like, it's a cheat. It's like a dirty. It's a dirty way of doing it, and this is more of a natural, the right way of becoming
a godly way of doing it. Yeah, it feels a little racist, doesn't it? I guess thinking about it,
it does a little bit, but like the Saiyans
racist.
Are so power hungry and like willing to take any means necessary to become more powerful that it kind of like it made sense to me a little bit. Maybe that makes me Saiyan racist, but
no, I get it.
I bought it.
Yeah, I from the godly demigod perspective, like I get what they're trying to put down. So Gohan powers to Super Saiyan. He powers up, but his hair doesn't change. His eyes didn't change either, which upset me a little bit because before his eyes totally
because before
change.
It did.
And I was like, oh, that's neat. Anyway. He wipes the grass off the planet and just like destroys this beautiful sanctuary of a wonderful world with his power. Gohan walks over to his dad and they have like a go have fun moment. Go kill the bad guy, son. Now the passing of the torch or whatever. But it's so indicative of their bad relationship because Gohan hugs Goku real
and
hard.
Goku doesn't hug him back.
Goku doesn't hug him back and instead just shoves him off
the last
at the
seconds.
end.
Yeah.
He's just like, he doesn't even hug him back. He just puts his arms around him to get him off of him. It's just a get off me, bitch.
I noted that too.
It's just like, oh, fucking hell. All right, whatever. There's no Goku is a good dad redemption at this point that could possibly happen. There's nothing Goku could do after everything that we've seen that would make Goku a good father in my eyes anymore. There's just not. So Kibito decides he's going to be the one to take Gohan back to the planet. He teleports Gohan back to Earth. And there's a nice moment where Gohan asks, hey, can you change my weird clothes? Did you notice his top got more swole when he powered up? His top half definitely got buffer.
Yeah, he's a bit more strong now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets his clothes changed. Kibito does the old clothes ray and changes him into Goku's gi. Which is a nice, I don't know, homage to his father.
Weird right after that bad moment.
Yeah, exactly. Weird right after that moment. But in the subtitles, the Japanese subtitles, Kibito's like, wait, it's the color of those frog droppings on planet whatever, right? That's pretty funny. And Gohan looks great. I really like the Goku Gi Gohan look. And I think that this moment, like with Gohan standing here on Earth, powered up and newly able to do this fight, really paints a picture of how Gotenks doesn't deserve to win. Like there's no point where Gotenks isn't cocky, where he kind of eats shit and has to face the failure of himself and like look deep inside with himself and find something that was there all along that helps him power up. Like he doesn't have an arc. He's just a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Gohan has this moment right here where he's like, okay, time to do this. Like we've seen Gohan fail before. We've seen him be timid and now he gets this like renewed confidence where he knows that he can make a difference. And it feels way different.
Yes.
In like this 10 seconds, you're just like on his side and you're rooting for him. Where watching Gotenks this whole time, you're just kind of like, ha.
Right, that's it.
Like that's it.
The sum total of your feelings on Gotenks, and then Gohan appears, and I feel like, okay, we're back to the show that I actually like watching. Like as soon as he's back,
so,
I get this renewed sense of hope that things matter again. Oh my God. Piccolo's going to go back to being Piccolo. Gohan's going to go back to being the hero that he should have been. Holy shit. Majin Buu's going to go back to being the villain that he should have been instead of this fucking cartoon. It really is astounding the tonal difference as soon as Gohan shows up.
The character that actually has a character
fucking matters. Yeah.
Anyway, to finish off this episode, Gotenks gets blasted into a rock, falls into the rubble, and when he pops back up, it's Gotenks in Trunks, which is very funny. They have unfused. They're out of time. They pop up, they're like, you're dead, and then they notice that they're unfused.
Yeah, they both say it at the same time, so it's the Gotenks voice again, but they're totally separate, which is nice. I liked that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
That was a neat little moment.
Yep, so Gohan's not quite there yet, but he's going to be on his way soon, and that's about it. We should do a mid-roll shutout. We have 20 seconds. This is the to Roll Shadow, the part of our episode where we like to shout out certain individuals that hit a certain tier on our Patreon. Those individuals are
MJ Snyder, Spencer Fiercely, The Goaty, Tyler Hyatt, Nobi Zoe, Andrew Winden, Erwin, Dan Shumate, Eric White, Josh West, Kyle Andajar, and Lori.
Thank you very much for continuing to support us. We sincerely appreciate it. And sorry this had to be so fast. I'm clicking the start button again for our last episode.
Episode 263. The Japanese title is Boo Overwhelmed, Gohan's Miracle Power. The American title is A Whole New Gohan.
My episode title is Fight You. No, I want to kill you.
Yeah, that's maybe the best line in these 5 episodes.
Whole fucking show, man. That was so good.
It was really good. Goten and Trunks are unfused and they're like, shit, we're going to die. We're only kids. Like, they get this moment where they face the mortality. Gotenks doesn't get character development, but Goten and Trunks sometimes get it. Piccolo jumps in front of the kids, and once again, he becomes Piccolo, and he says, like, I'm going to try to hold Boo off for as long as I can. Trunks and Goten are like, but you're going to die. And he's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Trunks' big idea is to apologize with Candy. And there's this weird moment where like Goten flies off to go get Candy and then he flies back, but they just reversed the frames of him flying off and he just reverses. It's weird. It doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Boo goes to sleep.
Yeah, Boo just kind of falls asleep and he's got the nose bubble, so you know he's actually asleep. And I guess there's part of your brain that's like, I don't know if this is a trick or a cartoon because we've been through so much cartoon bullshit. And the kids also don't know. So the kids go to test it. And Piccolo is, oh my God. The Piccolo in this moment is babysitter Piccolo, voice of reason Piccolo, because he's freaking out at the kids who want to go over and like pull on his horn, his dangly thing on top of his head to see if he's awake.
His flaccid horn.
Yeah. And there's a moment where Goten says, I'm going to pull out his horn. And then Trunks says, that's not a horn. That's and then trails off. And like, I feel like there was a word that they had in the dub that they decided maybe we can't say that.
It was good.
Standards and practices was like, you can't say donger on TV. So yeah, that happens. And they kind of try to wake him up, but then they decide for sure he's actually asleep. Boo is actually, which makes sense to me because we saw Fat Boo fall asleep after destroying a bunch of stuff after getting into some fights. So maybe Boo has to sleep after expending a bunch of energy. There's like a limitation. I was like, oh, they're building a limit to this character. They're adding something. Wow, maybe our heroes can actually. And then suddenly everybody feels Gohan coming and Boo just wakes up again and it ruins that whole line of thought that I had.
It totally takes out all of that. Yeah, it's actually for nothing. And they could have cut this entire beginning and just started right when Gohan arrives.
Yeah.
What a pointless opening.
Goddamn.
Piccolo actually thinks it's Goku because of the power level and the gi.
That's happened a lot. Neat. When Gohan is coming, everybody thinks it's like, oh, it's Goku. Oh, it's Goku. And at this point, I kind of feel bad for Gohan that every time
because he doesn't get his own.
Yeah. How come Goku and Gohan's color of ki in the interdimensional space where they can sense it? How come they don't know at this point? Like, fuck it. Anyway, so all right, suddenly Gohan is there and. Suddenly, I feel this renewed sense of hope for the show. I'm like, holy shit, things are going to be fun again for me. All the people that liked the cartoon stuff, they're probably like, oh, God damn it. Now it's going to get serious again. But
I like Gotenks as a character, but even that was a little much.
It's a ton. They go all in on the cartoon stuff. And then here, this is the slow transition. It's a pretty fast transition, honestly. It's DBZ. Back to seriousness. And so, all right, he's here. He's here and he's powerful. It's happening. It's fucking happening. After all these episodes of him sitting on nothing, sitting on his thumbs while an old man reads dirty manga, here we are. He's here. And Piccolo is like, no wonder I couldn't tell it was Gohan. He's so confident. And Piccolo's line read was almost like, It was almost like is this like a flirt? It was almost like a flirt.
No. That's that man's son.
They're not related. So, step Gohan. So, okay. Suddenly Gohan can sense something inside of Boo. I think Gohan is feeling all the people Boo has eaten are not actually dead. They're in there somewhere.
It doesn't reveal it this episode, which is kind of nice. But yeah, I think that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, but it's never outright stated, which I appreciate because the show does that every fucking time. They have the like mystery thing, maybe, but then immediately afterwards they just fucking say it. Yeah,
and they didn't do it in this episode, which
leads me to believe we're back to the DBZ I like. So Gohan slow walks up to Boo, and there's a side-by-side shot of Boo and Gohan.
Boo is so much taller than I thought he was.
Yeah, Boo is like fucking 9 feet fucking tall. I don't know how tall Gohan is, but Boo is huge. It's almost double his freaking height. And this is where we get the Boo says, I remember you. You're that pipsqueak that I beat up before. You want to fight me again? And Gohan says, fight you? No, I want to kill you. Beautiful. Beautiful line read.
It's really
good. We get another Kai
really good
recap. Who gives a fuck?
The only thing I like is that Elder Kai calls Supreme Kai Kindergarten Kai. That was funny.
Really good. That's really solid. Oh my God. So also, I have to mention in that little recap thing, Goku tries to make it a point where he's like, yeah, Earth's heroes should be from Earth. They shouldn't just come from the heavens. Says Goku.
I get, but yeah, halfway through that scene, I understood what he meant, which was basically his thought line in the Cell Saga where he's like,
right,
my time is over. I got to leave this to somebody. But the way it comes off, it's just like, Earth has been saved every fucking time by an alien. What are you talking about?
Fucking and it's gonna happen again in this show. So like, what the fuck? And I get that they didn't know that when they recorded the line. I get that, but it's so Gohan continues to walk towards Boo, and he's just slow walking at Boo, and it's really kind of unnerving Boo, which is great. Gohan is intimidating the shit out of him, and then Gohan begins the pummeling. And Gohan in this scene gets some of the best, most well-drawn and displayed choreography that I think I've ever seen. To where a lot of DBZ fights,
even I noticed it.
Yeah,
with his like dodging and the way he hits.
Yes.
Like I'm like, whoa, the animation has kind of stepped
there's
up, huh?
flow in his strikes. Versus a lot of the other fights are just kind of like he does this and then he does this. No, you get to watch as he makes his decisions to move his body. It's really cool. It's really effective. And it is also really effective against Boo because every strike is crazy strong. And because this is DBZ, Gohan's just getting started. He's just warming up. Like this is him cracking his knuckles and it's making Boo cry. It's great. It's visually beautiful. He makes Boo bleed from his face. I think it's the first time we've seen Majin Buu bleed.
I was wondering about that, the purple blood. I don't know if it is the first or not, but I made a note of it here for sure.
Yeah. And then I have to make mention of this. I feel like
of course
this is one of those things you have to because we're doing this show. In Japanese, there's a cut to Gohan where after Gohan punches him in the face and then disappears and appears behind him, in English, Gohan says like, nice day, isn't it? Or something. And in Japanese, he says, you retard. And I don't think it
made me laugh because it's a screenshot that I've seen so many times on the internet. It just popped up so unexpectedly and it just caught me off guard. And it was just so, why is he saying that? Like,
apropos
what?
Nothing. Yeah. And
it was funny in a non-PC kind of way.
Right, exactly. It's not socially acceptable, but you can still point at it and be like, So anyway, we got 1 minute and 15 left. Anything else you want to say?
Holy shit, really?
Yeah, we nailed this one.
I mean that's the end. Gohan and Boo face off and the real fight starts next episode. I don't know, man. These episodes were fine. A little cartoonish for my taste, but like the build up to the Gohan reveal, it just feels like they couldn't do anything until Gohan showed up.
Yeah, it was
like
very
they already
much
made that commitment.
It was a waiting for Gohan. It was a waiting for Gohan. Gohan. And
that's pretty good. And almost a pun.
We'll call that our pun for the episode. Why not? I'll reuse it.
Waiting for Gohan.
Waiting for Gohan. And I hate, and everyone knows this because I keep saying it, how cartoony it gets because it makes me not give a shit anymore about what's going on.
Well, and like I feel like you could have just had Gohan show up earlier and fight more.
Yeah.
And then it would have cut down on the filler on the Kai planet and then given more stakes to the actual fight. And then Goten, Trunks, whatever, like the new generation of Z Warriors could like start earning their place instead of just having the kids be a little bit too cartoony with it.
Hey, isn't Tien still alive?
Tien is still, I don't know if he died. I think he's still alive. I think he dodged all of the Boo bullets, but I don't know that it showed him after the attack.
Yeah,
but like
random,
that's my point is like you could do so many things. You have so many characters and you have so much story, and instead you just plug 3 episodes in that just stall.
Yeah.
And I don't know why you need to do that when you could work on pulling the threads together and giving every character a little bit of moment and
because you're on an extreme timeline and you're just trying to do something that entertains you instead of your audience. That's all. That's all. We had a conversation on our Discord about what you owe to your fans, and I think you gave a really fucking good answer. And if you weren't there, sorry, because I don't remember what you said. Do you remember what you said? Because I don't remember. But
I mean, I said a lot of things, but
yeah, the reason it came up was that Toriyama, basically at this point, was just writing this for himself, having fun, doing whatever he wanted. And eventually fan mail kept coming into him. How come this hasn't happened? Where's this character? Blah, blah, blah. And he changed the story based on that. And it really shines through. It really shines through that he was just entertaining himself in these episodes. And he's not a great writer. He's just not a great long form writer. Sometimes it sucks, and other times it works great. And I don't understand this show.
I don't understand it either. The world building has always been really good.
Yeah.
That's like a huge point in his favor. And I think everybody that knows Toriyama's work knows that. Like, he's a hell of an artist and a really like visionary creative.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think writing is a strong suit, and it sucks when you get so far down the road that like writing, when shows go this far into their story, you need a good
the writing is
story.
What's carrying it. Yeah. Because at this point we know the characters, we know the story, and it sucks because he's really good at writing a character and character moments that make you care. But then he's really fucking bad at flow and timing and overall planning. And so it's bizarre when you give this much of a shit about your characters, because he's really good at that, but then you don't get the moments that they deserve repeatedly. And it's, I see why people hate this part of the show. That this is as rough to me as the Namek stuff was long and boring.
Yeah, I will say that it's like, it's going at a breakneck pace, man.
It is.
Like there's stalling and there's filler, but it's going at like 100 miles an hour. It doesn't feel as much of a slog as Frieza's stuff did.
Right.
But I care just as much as I did in the Frieza saga, which is very little.
That's kind of what I mean. There is a direct parallel to be drawn between how much I didn't give a shit about what was happening during the 14 or 15 episodes of the Goku versus Frieza fight, and then this. And it's bizarre, man. I didn't think we would end up getting this deep into the show when we first started this goddamn joke of a podcast. But like, there's so many layers to unfold and to really look at, and it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, we are 5 minutes past our 10 minutes on this episode, but it was the last one, so I was like, it's fine.
We kind of like put a bow on the 5 as a whole.
3, 2, 1.
Next time on Arcade's Dragon Ball Z, we'll figure out what the hell's going on with Gohan and his new power as he faces off against a new, revitalized, and also a little bit scared version of Majin Buu. Will Goten and Trunks earn their place among the Z Warriors? Will Piccolo do something other than complain about the destruction of Kami Tower? I have no idea, but we'll find out next time on Arcade's Dragon Ball Z.
Wow, that was more next time than you've ever given. That was awesome.
Yeah, well, I saved up some energy because we
blasted
we were able
so
to,
much of this.
Yeah, well, like usually, like I do love making this podcast. It's very fun, but sometimes when we talk about the 5 episodes for 3 times the amount of time it took to watch the 5 episodes, I get a little tired at the end. So we want to give a shout out to all of our patrons that have contributed to this podcast. Thank you so much for supporting us. We really appreciate it. You guys are all awesome, but I'll read you off in whatever the hell order that Patreon has sorted you by. So thank you to Aoku and Dad, a new patron, one that we've been waiting for a while, and I'm so happy to see you guys on.
Yeah, excited to see y'all on there. Welcome to the stuff, and thank you so much for helping us support us. Also, Gunny Bawa,
Amanda, Giles, I'm so sorry.
Andrew Winton,
MJ Snyder,
Tyler Hyatt,
Josh West,
Croy Keener,
Cole Duick. Sorry.
I love your name. I love that name. Artex, the creator.
Kyle Andujar.
Lori,
the fish.
GJ Collins.
Tom Prochnicki.
Hurst ran out of gas.
Tinny.
Spencer Feuerstein.
Erwin.
Dan Shumamate.
Oh no, Zoe.
Felix Rodriguez.
Eric White.
And last but absolutely not least, Vasco Sapinto.
Thank you guys so much. It really does help keep us going. And thanks to you, we will be in Rhode Island when you're listening to this episode. So head on over there before the weekend's over. and meet us in person.
Meet us in
Eric
person.
will be there too.
Yeah, go ahead and tell us how we do not look anything like you imagined, like we've been told repeatedly. It just keeps happening. It keeps fucking happening, and it makes me want to wear a mask of that character that we have in that little
There's no
thing.
way that they think that we look better in real life, right?
I don't
like when you say that about somebody,
Yeah.
you always mean that they look less good than you expected them to.
Well, I don't know. They tried to explain it to me in our Discord. It's not that we're less attractive. It's just not what they expected. They expected me to be a big guy. Probably because I go deep because my voice has like
Oh man,
grains.
see I feel like that's always the opposite problem for me. Is I picture conventionally attractive podcast hosts, and then I see pictures of them in real life, and they're a little bit bigger, a little bit lankier, a little bit more stereotypical nerdy, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I pictured at all.
Yeah.
So I wonder where we are on that spectrum.
Yeah, I think they said they expected my body type to be your body type. They expected you to be like the skinny one with zero muscular tissue
Oh,
whatsoever.
fuck off! I don't work out at all, and I don't watch what I eat at all. But I wear a medium and occasionally large.
Wait, how tall are you?
6 foot.
Yeah, right. And I think we're about the same height. I'm 5'11 and a half, but I lie.
Sometimes on forums I'll put 6'1". I don't know why. I have no idea why that inch matters so much.
Because it does. It's been ingrained into our heads at this point. The taller guys means cooler or something. So
Yeah.
I lie about it. But I'm never standing up straight. So I'm like 5'9" until I stand up totally straight.
The way that I hunch.
Yeah. So anyway, if you enjoy content by our team, we are doing a weird thing with Tales of Nowhere right now called the Interdimensional Six Pack. You can check that out.
It's been really fun. We go to the Pokemon universe and Star Trek and
Warhammer
40K.
And it gets real dark, and check it out. It's a lot of fun. Music for this podcast is me and Burn7 on SoundCloud, and talk to us, email us, mail, mail at ehdbz.com. You can also send us a voicemail at 385-DARE-1-OX or a text message. It is a Google Voice number, so whatever the fuck. You can also check out our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/
Wait.
No, wait.
I thought you made it a cool little tiny
tinyurl.com/ oh, fine, I don't fucking remember what it is.
I think it's Eric Hates DBZ.
It's almost.
But I'm working on getting our old episodes up on YouTube.
I saw that. Thank you.
Yeah, I got to do another batch.
You can check us out on our Twitter. It's twitter.com/Eric Hates DBZ. Just Google us. Just Google Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z, and you find all of our shit if you want.
Hey, you know what's really fun is if you type in tinyurl.com/EHDBZ, it goes to a site called AmericanThinker.com. So
What? Hang on.
think about that.
Oh, American Thinker. Thanks for visiting American Thinker. We've detected that you're using an ad blocker. We depend on revenue, so please disable your ad blocker. Well,
Hey, why didn't it say that to me? I have an ad blocker. Maybe it's a better ad blocker than what you use.
no, I think it's just ad block, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I use uBlock.
Oh, yeah, I just use ad block.
That's fine.
I have so far blocked 268,217 ads.
Isn't it weird reading the total blocked amount? You're like, how?
Yeah, I appreciate not having to see that many fucking ads.
Yeah, I do too. Anyway,
So we're no longer waiting for Godohan. There, that's our pun.
all right. Come see us in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Bye.